Hey guys, ST Tekken here. It's been a bit since I made a Pufnstuf related video, so I decided, hey, why not make a fun facts video for you guys? So in this video, I'm going to cover 32 fun facts about HR Pufnstuf. However, before we start, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps out, and make sure to like the video so the algorithm actually pushes it. Now let's get started with fact number 1. Marty Krofft became Jack Wilde's guardian while he was in the United States working on the show and movie. However, Marty would later admit that it made his life hell, as he already had 2 teenage daughters and was also dealing with the pressure of being a producer. McDonald's ripped off the show and got sued by the Kroffts for copyright infringement. Only 2 actors auditioned for the role of Witchiepoo, those being Penny Marshall and Billie Hayes. Billie Hayes came in and let out a maniacal cackle and hopped up on the desk. That resulted in her getting the part on the spot. Coral Kerr created the idea of Freddy the Flute after she was asked to come up with some sort of conscience for Jimmy. However, 35 years later, she learned that Sid and 2 male members of the studio's art department were concerned that it would appear too phallic for a television show. The idea of living island using buttons as currency came from Sid Kroft's childhood. As a kid, he charged friends buttons, not pennies, to view puppet shows in his backyard.
200 buttons.
That's what we use for money here on Living Island, Jimmy.
Despite being cast to play a 12-year-old character, Jack Wilde was actually around 16 during the time of the show's production and filming. Judy the Frog is based on star Judy Garland, who Sid Krofft had accompanied on a performing tour in the past. However, she sadly passed away just 3 months before the show aired. Freddy the Flute was originally intended to be a harmonica. While touring as a puppeteer in the 1940s, Sid Krofft carried a harmonica in his pocket. He could only play 1 song on it, but he later described the instrument as his only friend. He originally planned for Jimmy to carry a harmonica, but it felt like the wrong instrument. On one of the earliest American DVD releases by Rhino, the episode Flute, Book, and Candle was duplicated from a noticeably inferior video print. This was later fixed in the many following DVD releases of the TV show. NBC offered the Krofts to make a second season of Pufnstuf, but due to how much of a money pit the show ended up being, and the network only offering a small budget increase, they declined the offer. Pufnstuf was the only Krofft show that was shot on film. All of the Krofts' later shows would be instead filmed on videotape to both lower production costs and take advantage of the blue screen technology at the time. The HR Pufnstuf character was originally created for the Hemisphere 68 World's Fair, for a show called Kaleidoscope for the Coca-Cola Pavilion. Pufnstuf's original name from the Hemisphere was Luther, and he had massively different colors and was more blue and green instead of yellow and green. Luther also lacked arms. Lutherland was the show's original title until a friend suggested Pufnstuf, which he derived from the recent hit song Puff the Magic Dragon. Jim Nabors originally laid down vocal tracks for Luther, but his recording was unusable. He was replaced by Lennie Weinrib, who continued to use the same voice for Pufnstuf in the final show. There were at least over 10 different Freddy the Flute props made for both the TV show and movie, combined, with a total of at least 7 talking Freddy the Flute puppets made. Each prop was made of different materials or having parts of be differently placed or proportioned. One of the original Freddy the Flute puppets from the Pufnstuf movie is currently in possession of Rob Klein, the Vice President of Creative Development at Sid and Marty Krofft Pictures. There are at least 4 different heads and at least 2 different bodies made for Pufnstuf himself in the original TV show. Barely noticeable unless paying close attention. Most apparent differences between the 4 heads being different airbrushing on Pufnstuf's lips and under his nose. And in some behind-the-scenes images, you can see versions of Pufnstuf's costume with both sewn-on arms and detachable arms. During the show's intro, you can see a goof regarding Pufnstuf's costume, where the back spikes are accidentally detached and swinging around freely. The show was shot at Paramount Studios, while the opening where Jimmy is running through the forest and encountering the boat was shot at Big Bear Lake, California. During early production of the show, there were early versions of many of the costumed characters and props shown off at a press gathering to promote the upcoming show in March 1969. The original Luther costume was also present at the press gathering. In the early 70s, Pufnstuf had its own Ice Capade show, which seemed to be mostly based off the feature film. Pufnstuf had its own dark ride at the Krofft Indoor Theme Park in Atlanta. Some of the props within it, such as the Rescue Racer and the Vroom Broom, apparently being the originals from the show/movie's production. The Banana Splits Adventure Hour show had a special that promoted the Pufnstuf show upcoming debut. The special was aired 7 days before HR Pufnstuf aired for the first time, and was only aired once. The basic plot is that Jimmy and Freddy would show the Banana Splits where Living Island was on the map. This special, alongside most of the Banana Splits Season 2, is sadly lost media at this current point in time. HR Pufnstuf had a float at the 81st Tournament of Roses parade in 1970. The float used the screen-use costumes from the actual TV show and had Jack Wilde and Billie Hayes reprising their roles as Jimmy and Witchiepoo. The float was called Holiday on Living Island. HR Pufnstuf was at the Universal Studios Hollywood, California theme park in the early to mid 1970s. The costume used for meet and greets was the screen-use TV show costume, and the Universal Studios tour included a full HR Pufnstuf exhibit filled with sets, costumes, and props from the show and movie. One of the few known surviving set props from the original Pufnstuf show is Pufnstuf's mayor plaque seen in his cave. There were various reboot attempts for the show over the decades that never got made, a notable one being the Neptune Studios reboot headed by Todd Kaufman. One of the original Freddy the Flutes were stolen sometime in the 90s from the Krofft warehouse. Luckily, he was returned in the end. In 1976, Pufnstuf danced alongside other popular characters including Big Bird at the Emmy Awards ceremony. In the Bay City Rollers, Pufnstuf mentions his cousin is the Loch Ness Monster.
You take this box to my cousin Bruce. Oh, it's heavy. What is it? Gloves? Gloves? Uh-huh. 97 pair. That's how many Bruce wears at a time. Who's this cousin of yours? Why, everyone knows my cousin Bruce. He's the Loch Ness Monster.
The original Rescue Racer was built by George Barris, who also created the iconic Batmobile for the original 1966 Batman series. And that's all the fun facts I have for y'all in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found some of these interesting or completely new to you. And, of course, I'll see you next time. See ya!
See you next week!
Keep those cards and letters coming.